Little bit of the old... Padded Room Radio coming to you live on a tired Tuesday night. My name is Darian. I'm back for another week of horror bullshit. Mr. Harrell has arrived.
Hopefully I can talk in my sleep because I'm about to pass out too.
Oh, God. Not you, too. Was everybody asleep tonight? Is that what's going on? Were you partying on Monday?
You know me. I'm a party machine.
You're a party animal. I know that you are.
Keep it going till the break of dawn, yo.
Every day and every night, baby. I love it. I love that about you. What's new?
Still Halloween decorating. Yep. You know, the real delight of Halloween decorations is that every time you put something new up, the next night something has stopped working.
Oh, no.
Bulbs have blown.
Yep.
Meticulous strings of light just are sections or right in the middle, of course, of other sections.
Of course.
Just not working. A lot of frustrations right now.
I can see that. Yeah, I'm feeling you. And the weather hasn't been helpful at all.
Yeah, it's been nuts.
I feel like
a lot of wind.
Yeah, a little extra windy these days.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but a lot of decorations are being kicked down the curb.
Yeah, I'll take that over the heat, though.
I mean, as far as decorating goes, I think probably the heat is better. At least it's still there when you wake up in the morning.
You forget I'm a bit of a priss, sir.
It's true. You don't do well. You don't do well at all.
What's going on with you?
Oh, you know, just the usual shenanigans. Football, of course. More football. Got woken up in the middle of the night last night with a sick kid.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, Deacon comes into the bedroom, taps me on the shoulder. 3:30 in the morning. I don't feel too good, Daddy.
Oh.
22 minutes later. I'm cleaning poop off the kitchen floor.
Well, at least it was the most convenient part of the night.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had nothing else planned for 3:30 in the morning, so why not get up and rinse out a bunch of popcorn bowls?
Yeah, and of course you all get sick right before embarking on your great getaway.
Exactly. Speaking of which, we got a little bit of an announcement to make. No show next week, inmates. The Big D family is going on a little bit of an adventure, so we will be out of town. And for the month of October, we're going to try something new. We're going to switch up the format a little bit. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. We don't really care, but it's what we're doing. Instead of doing a movie every week, we're all doing 31 Days for 31, right?
Trying to,
31 for 31. So instead of doing a feature film every week in October, we're just going to kind of extend the What Are You Looking At segment into the show itself. So we're going to have a lot of horror movies to talk about all throughout October, and that's going to take up probably at least an hour of our already beleaguered show.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see how this works out, and if people like it, maybe we'll hang with that format for a little bit.
It'll at least be a machine gun method of getting some recommendations.
Yes, and we're not going to go long form on all these fuckers because most of the movies I'm going to be watching are going to be bad, and you don't want to hear me prattle on about different things that make no sense. All right, dude. Well, we got a regular horror show to get into here. We got listener mail, horror news, all the regular stuff. How about a little of the old horror news there, Jason?
Mm-hmm.
Horror news.
Horror news, Jason. What do you got?
For anybody who hasn't seen it or wants to rewatch it, as of October 1st, Hulu will be showing Ash vs. Evil Dead series.
Very cool. You interested in that at all?
A little too whimsical for me.
It's comedy. Yeah. It's straight comedy.
Yeah. I mean, I love the guy, but yeah, if I want my fill of Ash, I'll watch Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
And for anybody that gives a shit, which is pretty much me, Bone Tomahawk getting a steelbook release from Walmart, an exclusive. Doesn't come out till like November.
That I might check out.
Yeah, it's $24.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Right on.
I need to pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, good flick.
It is. God damn, man. One of the still fucking fuck off. That all you got, homeboy?
That's it.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Miramax is currently shopping film and TV rights to the Halloween franchise. I think Halloween Kills has
killed it for me.
Officially fucking killed it for everybody. Just the general shit panning of it, all the way across the board, has really turned them off of Michael Myers and probably any future horror franchise projects for quite some time.
You know, a lot of people won't like the statement, but if you just remove Jamie Lee Curtis from the movies, I'm down for any sequel you want to throw my way.
What do you have against Jamie Lee Curtis?
I'm just tired of that storyline.
Okay, sure.
I'm tired of this Rambo, persona. Well, she's Rambo in one installment, not so much in another one.
That's the biggest problem I had with it.
I'm just ready for something different.
I get you. I'm with you on that.
Even give me 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, give me any of those damn movies right there. More than those last 3.
I really liked the first one.
Yeah.
Second one, not mad at it. Third one, don't fucking. You're wasting my time. But we've already beat that horse to death. Trailers are up for Living for the Dead, Hulu's new ghost hunting series produced by Kristen Stewart. I didn't watch the trailers. I don't know what Kristen Stewart has to do with anything.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's kind of random that she'd be into ghost hunting all of a sudden. But if she gets into one of those bra and panty situations, like in Underwater, I'm okay with that. She can shave her head clean down to the scalp for all I care. You know what I'm saying?
It works for you?
It works for me. What else we have here? Images are up for the brand new Toxic Avenger movie.
I didn't even know that it was a thing.
It's a thing, man.
So I actually just watched one guy who's at like one of the film festivals.
Okay.
Where he got to watch it.
Oh, okay.
And it kind of sounds promising.
Yeah.
Now, Peter Dinklage as Toxie himself.
He's playing the Toxic Avenger?
Both pre- and mutated form.
Okay. All right.
That's at least what I got out of the commentary.
Okay. I knew he was in it. I didn't know he was playing Toxie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, at least according to the Cody Leach on YouTube.
I'll pretty much watch anything with Peter Dinklage in it.
Yeah, you've got Kevin Bacon in there.
Yeah. There's some major...
Yeah, there's a couple of names.
Yeah. Macon Blair, I think, is either directing, and he's going to be in it for little bit parts here and there. It's going to be something, dude.
It is.
I'm gonna have to check it out. Speaking of trauma, Amityville Vibrator releases later this month. That's right, folks. It's the Amityville Vibrator, a haunted dildo, I have to assume. Trailers are up. I didn't bother to watch it. I'll probably not bother to watch it when it comes out.
I would hope you wouldn't.
I mean...
depending on where that thing has been, I'd really hate to get that confused with the Amityville Bong.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a movie, too. What else we got here? Synapse Films is just released Tenebrae in 4K Ultra HD.
Yeah, boy.
I kind of like that.
I enjoyed that.
I already have a copy. I think it's fine. I think mine's on DVD. Mm-hmm. So I liked it, but I'm not like a huge Tenebrae guy. I'm going to go out and buy this.
Yeah.
So it's still a good show. If you don't already own it, you might think about that.
I don't. I thought about it, but I don't know how much I'd rewatch it.
Yeah, I get that.
But it was really good.
It is a good show. That's all we got in the horror news, amigo. You ready for some listener mail?
Yeah, boy.
Or maybe some listener female.
No.
Been a while since any of the ladies out there.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies.
Unless you count Coop Nukem.
There is no ladies out there. I don't know what I'm talking about.
listener mail.
Yes, sir. We got emails and voicemails and all kinds of fun stuff happening here. Let's start things off on the padded room email. Here comes Tony. Subject line, Darian is a turd. Yeah, I figured that.
Fair enough.
Give me the samurai for the win. He's talking about the Terradome. Let me mark you down there, Tone. Right on, Tony. I'm locking you in for the samurai. What else does he have to say here? Nightmare on Elm Street reboot is bad. Visuals and kills are good, but making Freddy a pedophile instead of a psycho is a bad choice. 90s movies. Hard to pick just 3. Went with ones no one else picked. Number 3, People Under the Stairs. I never really got into that one. Have you seen that one?
I've only seen it once, and it was like, the year that it premiered.
Yeah.
And I don't remember being impressed.
Yeah, me neither.
But I have meant to kind of go back and rewatch it.
If you weren't impressed the first time, I don't think you will be this time. Just saying.
Never know.
Daddy's gimp suit really messed with me as a 7-year-old watching this movie, he says. Number 2, Silence of the Lambs. Buffalo Bills really messed with me as a 7-year-old watching this movie. Number 1, Event Horizon. At least I was a little older when I saw this. Sam Neill's best role. Darian always complaining about his fat face, so here is a new picture. Cue the mountain lion. Oh, that's a nice one. Look at me. I'm a little less chunky in that picture. I've got some nice pigtails, though.
Oh, yeah.
And the African-American gentleman behind me.
Yeah, boy.
Well done, Tony. Thank you for not using the old fat fuck picture. I appreciate that, sir. We got a couple voicemails here, Mr. Man.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start things off in the funky old South. Here comes our main man in Alabama, Alan.
Patty, what's up?
What's up, Alan?
Everybody's doing good. So Demon Wind is still on my shit list.
Good.
Speaking of Demon Wind, I went to a comic book convention this weekend.
Cool.
I got to meet Mick Foley. That was bucket list.
Nice.
I met some of the people from Letterkenny. I met Diamond Dallas Page.
Cool.
Ruby Soho and Danhausen. I met Tim Jacobus, who did the Goosebumps art.
Oh, very cool.
But I met Lou Diamond Phillips, and I actually walked up and I said, dude, I tripped me out to find out you were in Demon Wind. He started laughing, and he was like, oh, God, you've seen that piece of shit? And then he told me the story. His wife at the time was working on it.
Right.
And came in and did it and stuff, but I just thought it was funny when he called it a piece of shit. Anyway, 90s horror, I'm going to go with, and I mean, this is off the top of my head, Event Horizon,
Sure.
Army of Darkness.
Okay. 92.
And, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. Anyway.
I don't understand that, but all right.
Terradome, give me the Samurai.
Yeah,
I remember seeing Dead Girl. I've never seen Bloodbeat, but he's a samurai. I have no idea who Mr. Darian is. Yep, hope all's well. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Beautiful.
See ya.
Thanks for calling in, Alan. Yeah, man. The Bloodbeat. I wouldn't know if I hadn't. I think I watched the Joe Bob commentary on that. I wouldn't know that was a samurai. I would think it was just some kind of a weirdo out in the woods because you never actually get to see the samurai. You see a lot of weird World War II footage of like bombs being dropped, and then like out of nowhere you have to assume he's a samurai.
It makes total sense.
It's in Wisconsin in the early 70s.
Yeah, it makes absolute. Why would you not just assume it's a samurai?
I don't know why I'm even questioning this right now. God damn it. Right on, Alan. Thanks for calling in. Here comes Mr. Tom Hardy. Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo. Padded room. How's my favorite degenerate?
Good.
We're here.
I do hope I'm there, and particularly I hope Mr. Harold's there.
He
I
is.
got a question for you, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
A chin-off between the girl who played Stokely in the Faculty flick
Clea
and
Duvall.
the chick from Scream.
Nev Campbell.
Sydney from Scream.
Those are some serious
a
chins.
chin-off.
Those
Who's
are-
the winner? Who's got the ultimate chin?
Yeah.
I know you're the only one who could possibly give us this info, but yeah, you need to hear that.
He's doing the calculations
Anyway,
as we speak.
On the educating department, no idea who you are.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
On the Terror Dome, we got the Dead Girl from Dead Girl versus some fucking samurai.
Bloodbeat, baby.
Some damn thing. I don't know what. I'm just going to say it's the samurai from Neon Maniac.
Sure. Oh, that's fine.
In that case, give me the Dead Girl. I don't know what fucking samurai we're talking about. On the What Are You Looking At department, I got to catch a flick. I was flipping through, and I saw Graduation Day on.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? I haven't seen this one, some early 80s slasher I haven't seen.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I'm about 20 minutes in. I was like, oh, yeah, I remember this piece of shit.
It's pretty...
And then I had watched the whole fucking thing anyway.
Yeah, it's fine.
Whatever. It's a early 80s flick, but it looks very fucking 70s. Everyone's got, like, perm jobs and shit.
Disco
One of
hair.
the funniest thing in it is this girl running, and you can see, like, she's never ran before in her life. And that's all she does in the movie is, that's what the movie's about.
It's about a
how
track
fast
team.
This girl can run, but then she dies right at the beginning.
Yeah.
No dialogue, nothing. Why don't you just fucking hire a runner to do it if you're not going to be using her? I don't know, whatever, man. Then they had a girl fucking doing gymnastics who was actually in the movie who could actually do gymnastics. What the fuck, man?
Sure.
Anyway, yeah, I'm sure most everyone's probably seen it. If you haven't, don't bother. It's not that great.
It's fine.
On the meat hooks, we got 90s flicks.
What do you think?
Everyone says, the 90s were fucking horrible for horror, and yeah, it wasn't like the 70s or the 80s, but you start trying to narrow it down just to 3 on a meat hook, and you realize, fuck, man, there's actually some good flicks in there. They might not have been as plentiful, but all in all, I'd say there's still some good flicks.
Yeah.
So anyway, let me get to it.
What do you think?
Horror movie or not, I'd say Silence of the Lambs, Blair Witch Project, and of course Scream. That's got to be the top 3 for me.
You got it.
Anyway, hope all is well. Love you like family. Bye now.
Love you too, Tom Hardy. Thanks for calling in, amigo.
In the great chin-off of 2023.
Clea Duvall versus Nev Campbell.
Now, you would think I'd give the advantage to Stokely because she's got more of a point. So it's kind of a chisel versus rock scenario. But Nev Campbell's block chin is so gigantic that it would be the equivalent of taking down Mount Rushmore with a ball-peen hammer.
Gotcha. Yep.
So Nev Campbell for the win. She's got more of a defense going for her.
It's more the full jaw than just the chin.
Than just the chisel
Clea Duvall
point.
has like a javelin chin.
Yes.
Sure. But Nev Campbell is more like a wrecking ball face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It is.
I would agree. I think Nev takes the chin off. Right on, Tom Hardy. Thanks for calling in, man. Jason, do you have anything for Tom Hardy, Alan, or TJ? Or Tony, I mean?
Love y'all.
Love you guys. Thanks for corresponding. Are you ready to go back to Elm Street, my friend?
Boy, am I
Boy,
ever.
am I. Me too. Let's do it.
Hello? Anyone here? Hello?
If you keep falling asleep, they're gonna kick you out of here.
Sorry. I had another nightmare last night. I can't tell what's real anymore. Is there anybody else out there that this is happening to?
Every time that I dream, there's always this man.
That's his mark, isn't it? Freddy.
Oh my god, you've seen him too. Who are you?
Remember me?
It's me, it's you, it's Dean, it's Jesse, Chris. He's in all of our heads, Nancy. We gotta stop this.
How?
Don't fall asleep. I haven't slept in 3 days. We're running out of time. At the 70-hour mark, the insomniac will begin to experience micronaps. It means you're dreaming, but you don't know it. Even if you're awake.
Oh, God. No. Just me. You yet.
I'm gonna give you a little something that'll put you right to sleep. This might sting a bit.
That's right, Jason Harrell. It's a Nightmare on Elm Street. 2010, baby.
It is a nightmare.
We're doing it. Watch out, horror hipsters. I'm sure your panties are already in a bunch. Isn't it Robert England? No.
I don't have a lot of stupid jokes.
No. It's written by Wesley Strick, directed by Samuel Bayer, stars Jackie Earle Haley, Rooney Mara, and Kyle motherfucking Gallner, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my man. Dude, it's a remake, all right? You know that. This one is universally hated by all horror fans. Nobody can give me a good reason why. Yeah, you press them on it, and you get a lot of, well, it just didn't work for me. Well, the vibe was wrong. Well, Robert Englund. What, really? It's not that fucking bad, I don't think.
I wonder what if those same people were to see this one without the context of the original, like, you know, how much would they like it then?
Probably a lot.
Because then, you know, you've got some fresh ideas there.
Yeah. We start off in the Springwood Diner, Jason Harrell. Mm-hmm. And it's dark, it's rainy, stormy night. We're in Springwood, Ohio, as we should be. I assume Ohio, I don't know. Guy goes in there to get a cup of coffee, place is empty, dark. He's like, hey, get a cup of coffee, sees the waitress walk behind the back counter and into the kitchen. So he follows her and he's like, hey, I want some coffee. Kitchen's all fucked up. There's something on fire on the stove. It's dark. Lightning flashes.
It's a pig head.
It's a pig head, and I felt like I saw some hooves, in a pot.
A couple of hooves.
I don't know what we're boiling hooves for. Eventually, Freddy pops out behind him. Instead of doing the screechy claw on the chalkboard kind of metal pipe thing, in this one he does like a shing 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 shing, like he's twiddling his fingers.
Yeah,
that's kind of neat. It's Jackie Earle Haley. It's not Robert Englund. Burn makeup, better or worse? Go.
Oh boy, I say worse.
Okay.
I mean, two completely different looks,
right?
But it just looks too rigid.
The Jackie Earle Haley.
Yeah, looks a little too stiff.
I get that, and it's. I think it's probably more accurate to what a burn victim would look like.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I don't know. I just it kind of felt like there was a lot of unnecessary swelling. Maybe I'm sure that's what happens.
Yeah, Robert Englund doesn't look as truly or genuinely burned.
No, he looks more elderly. I always felt like.
But Jackie Earle Haley's, it looks like he's wearing a mask.
Okay, sure,
and that just kind of takes it away from.
All right.
Me.
Big, scary stuff. He chases him around a little bit, throws some pots and pans at him. Eventually, the guy wakes up and he's back in the booth. And Rooney Mara, playing Nancy, is the waitress there. She's like, hey, you got to quit falling asleep, you fucker. He's like, oh, yeah, sorry. And there's actually now the place, now that we're back in the real world, there's people in there and they're, eating and drinking and stuff. Nancy works there on the weekends, we find out. There's a table of dudes, a couple seats down, with our man Kyle Gallner in there. We're going to meet him. His name is Quentin Smith. He's going to be our, I guess not our Glenn or our Rod.
No.
He's just kind of his own dude.
Yes, he is.
He's his own Quentin Smith. He's got a couple of homies with him. Eventually, another girl by the name of Chrissy comes in, goes and sits down with Dean. and we find out that one of Quentin's guys, Jesse, is pissed, or Billy, actually, I'm sorry, is pissed off because Chrissy broke up with him and is apparently now down the aisle there talking to Dean. So they get up and leave. We follow the conversation with Chrissy and Dean, find out Dean's a little unstable, hasn't been sleeping very good, keeps having these nightmares, very scary stuff. Chrissy's like, okay. Dean accidentally spills some coffee on her. She's like, oh, God damn it, I'm going to go clean myself up. She leaves. He goes back into the dream world and gets attacked and killed by Freddy with a steak knife. And he's like, you're not real, you're not real. Yes, I am. I'm real to you. And then he makes him stab himself with a steak knife. And that is our first kill.
Yep.
And then from there, we jump right into the Elm Street children, more or less. So we already met pretty much most of these dudes. We got Nancy, we got Chrissy, we got Quentin, Billy, a couple of other randos. Other people are going to pop up in and out of this equation. So we go to Dean's funeral the next day. Clancy Brown in the house as the schoolyard. I think the principal.
I think he's a principal.
Yeah. I would love to have him make my morning announcements.
Oh,
you
yeah?
know, over a PA. Yeah. Good evening, students. I can't do Clancy
Nailed it.
Brown. I cannot do Clancy Brown.
It's like Clancy Brown was right here.
I think I
folks.
need a third testicle to hit that level of baritone. But he's the principal there. He's like, oh God, you know, you guys grew up together. We find out he's Quentin's dad, actually. You guys grew up together, you and Dean and Chrissy and Nancy. You guys have been together forever, and now this happens. Oh, it's terrible. Come talk to me if you need to. And we meet Nancy's mom, played by Connie Britton, American Horror Story fame. I am hot for Connie Britton.
I figured as much.
I am. And it's not just because of American Horror Story. She's a very attractive lady, especially when she wears glasses. I've always thought glasses on a chick was very enticing.
I was wondering why you were staring at me that way. It's the glasses, isn't
It's
it?
the glasses, Mr. Harrell. Do you need to see me after class?
And that I have my cock out right now.
I mean, that's old hat. That's every week. So, there's kind of like some knowing glances between Clancy Brown and Connie Britton. From there, we kind of follow Chrissy around a little bit. She's now being afflicted with the nightmares. We get some cool little dream sequences here. One of the biggest problems I have with this movie is the overuse of CGI. That is a boner killer for me.
Yeah, and a couple of key shots, too.
Yeah, I think the worst was probably Nancy in her doing her sketchbook, and Freddy comes out of the wall above her.
Looked so bad.
It looked like a Scooby-Doo cartoon, like a Hanna-Barbera situation, you know?
Yeah, it was
that
pretty
was
bad.
pretty bad. There's some other ones as we get into it.
And that
but
was such an easy effect
They
for them
did
to
it.
do in the original.
Yeah, they did it in the original.
You got some rubber, you push your face into it, you're good.
Oh, that's it. I don't know what the hard part about this is, but I don't know. I guess it's cheaper to do it that way, or they thought it would look better, or
Yeah, it was garbage.
it was trash. So now the Freddy mythos is kind of being spread around Springwood. Nancy's having little minor nightmares. Chrissy's getting the full nightmare experience. She dozes off in class one day. We get a very cool classroom, high school, chase you around your high school sequence with Freddy. She comes to, and he snips off a lock of her hair, and when she wakes up, the hair is sitting in her book. So that really happened. Pretty creepy. She is going deeper and deeper into the psychosis of insomnia. And that's something I liked about this movie as opposed to the original. In the original, everybody just kind of talked about how tired they were and how they don't want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
In this one, we actually get like the side effects of not sleeping for a long time. The kids slamming pills and Red Bulls and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Like Adderall. So I like that about it. Eventually, Billy comes over, and we get the disappearing mom routine. Love that. You knew that was going to happen. I'm on a red-eye flight out of here.
I got to go. You're on your own. Bye. Here's the keys to the house and a car. Bye, you 16-year-old.
Yep.
Whew. God damn. If any of my friends' parents did that ever.
Orgy time.
Oh, we're going to burn your house down. Sorry. Anyway, so there goes that. Then Billy comes over that night, and she's terrified. She tells him all about the the nightmares, he relates. He's like, yeah, I've had the same dream about the same guy. He's got knives for fingers, and he chases you around and talks a bunch of shit. She's like, yeah, oh my God, it's so scary. Will you stay here with me tonight? Of course.
Yeah.
I'm here to help, babe. Unfortunately, of course, she goes to sleep and dies. I thought her death sequence was pretty kick-ass.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
The way she's like doing barrel rolls into the ceiling and flopping around.
Slammed against the walls and
stuff.
stuff.
And then eventually she gets the Tina Gray treatment and just gets slit right down the middle. In a Rod-esque move, Billy like tries to haul ass out of there, but he's covered in her blood. Gets tracked down by the cops like 2 doors down.
Yeah,
and
not very far. Quickest response by cops ever.
I know. Almost as if they were planning on it. Perhaps parked outside even. Anyway, they grab him. They arrest him. Chrissy's now out of the equation. That sucks. They take Billy to jail, book him in. He gets a cellmate, and he's like trying to keep himself awake, and his cellmate is getting pissed because he wants to go to sleep. Billy eventually falls asleep, and in the dream world, one of the jailers comes and gets him, and he's like, hey, you got bailed out by your parents, kid. Come on. So he starts walking out, and then as soon as he comes out of the cell, the whole jail turns into a big boiler room. Poof. And now we're in Freddy attack mode. Chase, cat and mouse around there. Eventually he catches him. This is where Freddy starts with the shit talking a little bit. It's not Robert Englund stand-up comedy bad, but it's still there.
Yeah.
And I guess it's okay because it wasn't... I don't know. How did you feel about the attempts at humor in this one?
I didn't really see it as really humor. I just saw it as kind of trying to...
Taunting?
Yeah, just fucking with them.
Yeah.
Whereas, Robert Englund is straight up comedy.
Oh, yeah. He should be standing in front of a brick wall.
Now you're playing with power.
Now's the prime time, bitch. It's just like Freddy Krueger was here, right?
Right here. I wanted to cram my head into the TV.
Oh, no. Don't do it, Jason. So Billy gets eventually killed, and Freddy's got like a trophy room now where he's... he obviously doesn't... He's got like... I guess dream world variations of the bodies all strung up in his boiler room. He's got Dean and he's got Chrissy, and now he's going to add Billy. He shows him the bodies. He's like, hey, you don't remember me, do you? Oh, I remember you. Eventually he kills Billy, splits him open pretty much the same way. The cellie freaks out because he's like, I didn't do this. I didn't do it. I did not do this. I didn't touch him. And now Billy's dead. So now we're down to Nancy and Quentin.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. They are trying to figure out what the fuck is going on while their friends are dying off, and now they're both having dreams about Freddy Krueger. So there's that. So we start digging, and the first thing that occurs to anybody, actually occurred to Chrissy first, was at Dean's funeral. There was a picture of her and Dean together when they were 5 years old, but they don't remember meeting until they were in like the 6th grade. Or at least she doesn't. So she's like, well, that's pretty fucking weird. How does that work? So she went home and started looking through all of her old photo albums, seeing if there was any pictures of her and Dean together, and she can't find any. But there's also these huge gaps in the photo albums. So she's like, Mom, before you get on that plane, what happened to all these pictures? And Mom's like, I don't know. They're probably up in the attic somewhere. Whatever. Go check it out if you want. So... she gets up there and then eventually comes to her untimely demise. But she told Nancy about all that before she died.
She also found a little girl's dress with like knife marks in it.
Why would you say that?
Why would you keep that?
Why would you keep that? That's disgusting. Especially knowing what we know about where that came from in the movie.
Yeah.
Ugh. That's like holding onto an old condom or something. You know what I mean? Yuck. Anyway, that's kind of our tipping off point for Quentin and Nancy in their Scooby-Doo investigation. So Nancy goes home and she starts poking around her old photo albums and stuff, and eventually she comes across a class photo. And she looks at the back. It's got everybody's name on it. Sure as shit, there is her, there's Quentin, there's Dean, there's Chrissy, and there's a couple other randos about. And it's from the Badham preschool, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes Connie Bright. She's like, what are you doing? You can't be looking at that. And what are you doing? Why? How come I don't remember this? And you said we never knew each other. And what the hell? So this is when Connie Brighton spills the beans. So now let me before we get into this, let me ask you a question, Jason. I'm assuming you've seen all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies?
Yeah.
At one point or another.
Yep.
I was always under the impression that Freddy Krueger was a child molester. Were you?
I always just assumed that he was a child molester / killer. Yeah, he was killing the kids. I just assumed it was implied.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I don't think they ever said it.
They didn't. And in fact, they tried to swing a hard left in
Right.
Freddy's Dead when he said, "Oh, they took my daughters away, so I took all their children away," as if to say he never actually molested.
Just killed them.
He just killed them in some revenge act.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough. But up to that point, I just assumed that he was a diddler.
But in this one, there's nothing specific that says he diddles them either.
Well, there is an implication.
But
I mean, you don't get to see it, but I think they do say that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'll get there in a second.
Okay.
Because there's a specific line that's basically what's happening there. So anyway, Connie Brighton spills the beans. Yeah, you guys all went to preschool together. There was a gardener there that really loved you kids, and he just, you guys were his whole world, and he lived in the basement of the preschool, and his name was Fred Krueger, and anyway, one day you came home with a bunch of scratches on you, and we're like, what happened? And then we started calling the other parents, and they're like, yeah, all of our kids are acting real weird. And then somebody spilled the beans about Fred Krueger taking them down to his secret cave for extracurricular.
Didn't the kid have like gash marks on it?
Like giant.
Yeah.
But in that little montage, you saw him with like a garden trowel, doing things like that. So everybody's like, oh God, what happened? And then Connie Brighton is just like, well, he just disappeared. He left town before anybody could press charges or anything. So they're thinking, oh shit, well maybe he came back to get some kind of revenge. No, he'll never come back. He'll never come back. I promise. Okay, interesting. Now we're going to cut to, I guess Quentin is on the swimming team, and he's at some kind of swim practice, and he's doing his laps, and apparently he falls asleep underwater.
While
that
swimming.
is a tired son of a bitch.
It is
right
impressive.
There. I've fallen asleep in some weird places.
Now, I don't know if up to this point he had already discussed the whole micro-napping thing where you can basically have the naps even while you're awake.
He may have. It's basically, as he explains it, I don't know if this is factual or not, but if you stay up for too long, your brain will start doing trying to do like a hard reboot on itself, and you won't know when you're napping and when you're asleep and when you're awake. You'll just kind of drift into a dream and then drift out of it, and it'll be a very weird, surreal experience. Nothing I'm interested in trying. I have a hard enough time as it is.
You're being waken up at 3:30
with the vomit.
Shit in the floor.
I would love to think that that's just a dream. Oh God, I thought I was cleaning up shit off the floor. Anyway, yeah, there's that whole explanation, and again, that's something I liked about this movie is that we go more into the perils of insomnia than we do with the whole sleep stalker thing. Regardless, he's at a swim meet. He falls asleep in the bottom of the pool, and while he's asleep, presumably drowning, he goes into a flashback nightmare, for lack of a better term, where he finds out he basically relives the night that the parents tracked Freddy Krueger down to a boiler room in a junkyard. They were going to beat him to death, but he barricaded himself in there, and instead of beating him, they all just threw Molotov cocktails in the windows until the place blew up, and he was burned alive. And that was the end of Freddy Krueger, and that was when the transition into sleep demon stalker, possible diddler, took place. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty creepy. When he comes out of it, he's like, oh, God, I know what happened. I know what happened to Krueger. So him and Nancy go immediately to Clancy Brown's office, and they're like, you killed him, didn't you, you fucker? You killed him because we told you that we were diddled, and none of us have any recollection of that at all whatsoever. Did you ever think maybe we were lying, or maybe we were 5 years old? We didn't know what the hell we were talking about.
Yeah, he believed that they probably killed an innocent man.
Yeah, and I don't know. I thought if they went that route with Freddy, that might have pissed me off a little bit. And
if he would have actually been innocent?
Innocent, yeah.
Well, Quentin was just kind of alluding to that he may be innocent.
Correct.
Since they were just dipshit little kids.
Yeah. But if that was the be-all of the story, that might have pissed me off.
Oh, sure.
Regardless, he's all fired up at his dad, and so is Nancy. She's like, what are you doing? You killed somebody, you fucking asshole. From there, they're like, okay, well, we need to figure out how to, like, set him free or dispel him or basically just get him off our fucking backs. So their first plan, which is actually a pretty solid plan, is to go back to the preschool and see if there's some kind of clue, or maybe he left something behind.
This seemed a little silly.
Huh.
Because, Freddy Krueger lived in the basement of the preschool.
Sure.
So from the very moment that he was killed, apparently that school just shut down because everything was just left as is intact.
As is usually.
Because his bed was there,
yeah.
Like all of his little knickknacks, little scraps.
So, right, but that was they tried to fix that with some dialogue, because if you remember the big confrontation with Clancy Brown, Quentin says, "Did you ever find the secret cave?" And he said no. There was no secret cave.
Right.
Assuming, of course, the secret cave was his little shanty apartment there.
Yeah.
Sex dungeon, whatever you want to call it. But still, if he's living there, he's got to be living there with somebody's permission. And you would think a search
there would have been
warrant,
a working school.
Yeah. Somebody would know that you go down the stairs and you take a left, and that's where Freddy lives.
Well,
I don't know.
I just think that after Freddy goes missing, the school probably would have stayed in business, hired another guy.
Sure.
But it was just like, you know what I mean? It's like, Freddy's gone. Let's shut the whole place down.
We're throwing in the towel.
And you've got this whole group of, parents that can't find this secret room, yet these two Nimrods go down there for 5 seconds.
Sure.
Oh, look, here's a hidden thing.
Yeah. But more to the point, somebody would have known where he was staying under the school. So when it was time to search the premises, yeah, you go down the stairs, you make a left. That's his little apartment there.
Yeah.
And by the way, once they get there and they go down the stairs and they make a left, right there in his little apartment is a little box with a Polaroid camera full of what I only can assume are a bunch of nudie pictures of kids. some unsavory acts taking place. And that's when Quentin says the line, he's not here to punish us for lying. He's here to punish us for telling the truth.
Right.
So that's when I have to assume that he actually was a diddler.
But again, it could just be that he's the one that hurt them.
Sure.
Like I'm just saying, it's not. So it's not explicitly, it's not explicitly told that he did touch them. I don't think. So I think in both the original and this one, we're still left with the presumption that he diddled them.
Okay. I mean,
I think it leans more heavy in this one that he's a diddler, and not just a killer.
Right.
I think in the original, I think they leaned more into he's just a killer.
I mean, the Polaroid.
But I always assumed he was both.
Me too. The Polaroid pictures are a definite shot to the diddler side of the diddler, I would say. Anyway, they find him. I can only assume that they are, suggestive and probably pornographic. Oh my God! And then they make the decision that because there was a sequence in the pharmacy in which Nancy started micro-napping, Freddy came out and attacked her, and she managed to pull a piece of his sweater off. And when Quentin woke her up, she still had the sweater in her hand. Mm-hmm. So now we're back to Glenn and Nancy territory where
you can pull him out of the dream.
Pull him out of the dream, and when you do, Glenn/Quentin is going to be there to kick his ass, is the plan. Okay, great. So Quentin grabs the paper slicer thing, which we know it can't cut a fucking fingernail, let alone a child molester.
Yeah, but Quentin has Herculean strength and can break the metal in half.
He's Kyle Garner.
He is Kyle
He can
Garner.
do whatever he wants.
I mean, that thing had a gnarly sharp. Like,
It did.
Had a significant point on it.
Yeah. He must have. I don't know what he did, but it worked. Anyway, so Nancy lays down there in Freddy's dingy bed and goes to sleep. Big struggle. Quentin, I assume, falls asleep also because he ends up in the dream world where Freddy slashes him up pretty good.
Yeah, he was a horrible lookout.
Yeah, terrible.
Instantly
You got to stay
asleep.
awake, bro. You have got to stay
Stand
awake.
up, run in place.
You know, do something.
Some calisthenics. Jeez.
Take your shirt off. Who cares? But when Nancy pulls Freddy out, Quentin isn't full dead, and the act of pulling Freddy back into our world wakes Quentin up. So now we get a big struggle between Nancy, Quentin, and Freddy. Eventually, Quentin kind of fights him off for a little bit. Make a long story short, Nancy cuts his hand off, the one with the glove, Freddy's hand, and then slits his throat with the paper cutter thing. And then they light the place on fire and leave.
And they had to give her. I hate when fucking horror movies have these lines that end with the word bitch. Like, welcome to my world
bitch.
now, bitch.
Yeah.
Or, there was one of the Insidious where Elise is like,
oh, yeah.
Come fuck with me, bitch.
Yeah.
Or some shit like that. Like, okay, calm down.
I know it. That gets thrown around a lot. Freddy kind of originated that one, though, I think. I think he was one of the first bitch users.
Yeah, but he's a taunter.
He is.
I just hate when they take like these final characters and like you're not going to take time to crack wise. You're going to be swinging fucking paper shredders around.
Totally. You know what the worst I guess instance of that was? Like the most egregious. Now that you since you brought it up,
there's a few.
The one that was the most cringeworthy to me was the end of Halloween Resurrection, which the whole movie was pretty dipshit if you ask me. But when she's fighting off Michael Myers with a chainsaw, and every time she swings it at him, she goes, "This is for Billy. Bzz. This is for Danny. Bzz. This is for everybody."
That's pretty bad.
Oh God, come on. That is terrible. That is probably the worst possible scenario of that. Anyway, no, you're right. From there, they go home. A couple hours later, they get out of the hospital, I assume, and Nancy goes home. And then we get a kind of a call back to the original Nightmare on Elm Street, where Freddy reaches out of the mirror, grabs Mom, and pulls her in.
Which is equally as stupid.
And that is A Nightmare on Elm Street from 2010. Jason, what are your thoughts?
So this is my second time seeing it.
Okay.
The first time I was not mad at this movie at all. This time it just felt so fucking boring.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was really bad. It just felt very lazy.
Well, what do you think was so lazy about it?
I just felt like a lot of things progressed in an unnatural kind of... It like the writing didn't seem... It seemed very lazy. Things just didn't progress very logically, I guess. A lot of gaps that you just kind of... A lot of jumps in conclusion.
Sure.
A lot of, the main characters arriving at the secret room, the cave.
Yeah.
It just didn't seem to be a lot of filler. Not that I was looking for this to be any fucking longer.
Right.
But at the same time, it seemed like a very rushed... The writing just felt like it had monstrous gaps in it. And I thought that the best parts of this movie were the things that just regurgitated things from the original.
There are some serious carryovers from the original. The bathtub sequence.
Flopping around the room looked good. Dragging the
body
corpse
bag
around
sequence.
the high school.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I am okay with this. Do you think it's better than the original?
No.
Okay. I would agree.
I prefer the original.
I prefer the original also.
But
I'm not a huge fan. I'm not as nearly as big of a fan of the original as I used to be.
Me either.
And
then Dream Warrior is a obvious close second, and then you can just keep the rest of them.
I agree. Yeah. I'm not all that mad at Freddy's Dead, except that it felt very much like they were just trying to tie up every possible loose end in the franchise, and they didn't really have a lot of answers, so they just had to mail some in and hope that it made sense.
The only time I accept a comedic Freddy Krueger, and I'm kind of delighted by it, is in Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah.
Because that's just a fun fucking movie.
I love it. Yeah, I could watch those two fight all day. That's the
great.
best. I'm not. What I will say is that this movie, I don't feel that this movie is nearly as bad as everybody makes it out to be. A lot of the vitriol for it is because it's not Robert Englund.
Right.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that too.
You know what? He can't be Freddy Krueger forever. He can't. Have you seen him lately? He was like 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And I think he's like 95 or something like that. I love him dearly, but no. And more to the point, let's think about this. Jackie Earle Haley has like a storied Hollywood career. Robert Englund is kind of a one-trick pony. I hate to admit it, but there's a reason why he can't be in a decent movie.
Yeah.
He can make a shit ton of little cameos and horror. He's got Tony Todd syndrome, is what it is, unfortunately.
100%.
Jackie Earle Haley, Rorschach.
Bad News Bears.
Bad News Bears. That other movie where he was a child molester, I forget the name. He kind of gets typecasted as a child molester.
Boy.
That's a rough career right there. Right on, man. I say if you haven't watched it in a while, check it out again. I don't think you're going to be as mad at it. I don't think it's as bad as everybody makes it out to be. Try to watch it as if it's not a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Try to forget what you know about Freddy Krueger and watch it with a fresh set of eyeballs. That's what I say. Let's take us a little break there, J-Bo.
Okay.
If you like what you hear, head over to the Padded Room Facebook group and support us through the Patreon link with a small monthly donation. Check out the T-Villain link at paddedroom.podbean.com and grab some t-shirts. Thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of the show.
And we are back, big fella.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, buddy. It's going down. You know, I kind of like the idea of micro naps. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to stay up for like a week to get them. If I could just kick one off every now and then.
Yeah.
Just hey, I'm back. I feel much better.
Quick little reboot.
Yeah, like especially when my boss is talking to me.
Oh, that'd be great. Because sleeping is such a waste of time.
You know, if you could, I tell you, I'll be up all night playing video games, having a great time. I think it's time to get into a meat hook there, hombre.
Can't wait.
Let's do it.
Three on a meat hook.
This week's meat hook, top 3 remakes, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got on number 3?
My number 3, The Fly.
Oh, good. Good one.
My list is usually based on rewatchability.
Okay.
So, yeah, The Fly. Love that movie.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah, it's really good.
Do you ever see the original? It's
eons ago.
Very silly.
Don't need to see it again.
It's especially the ending. Help me. Stupid.
Yeah, you can't beat a Jeff Goldblum vomiting on everything and peeling his fingernails off, and you get a nice little maggot birth there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's win-win.
Dude, the effects in that one alone are worth it. They're
Yeah.
just bananas. My number 3, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Very good.
Darker, dirtier, funkier, stinkier. Andrew Bynarski as Leatherface. Not only will he kill you and eat you, but he will sack your quarterback, I feel like. He could play down lineman. And that one scene where he freestanding jumps onto the roof of the VW van. What the fuck am I going to do? You know what I mean?
Not much.
No, I know why that chick had a gun hidden in her cooter, because she knew what was coming at her.
Yeah.
She did the right thing and blew her own brains out.
I still want to know the logistics of that.
Yeah, I don't know how that gets up in there.
Yeah.
Unless she gave...
There's a whole lot of bending.
She must have given birth earlier in the week or something. I don't know. Right on. How about number 2, dude?
Let's see. My number 2, Evil Dead.
Okay. A lot of people don't think of that as a remake. They think of it as an installment.
How so?
I think it has to do with Ash showing up in that little credit cookie at the end.
He didn't even show up. It was just there.
His car was parked in the back.
No.
It was.
No.
It was.
This is it's a complete remake.
Okay. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying
you normally do.
No, well, I'm not. I'm just saying that's what certain people will say.
Certain people are wrong and stupid.
Fair enough. And they should have their houses burned down.
Yes.
Right on. I like that. That's a great show, man.
I love it.
Much more intense, but really wrapped it up a notch with the blood and guts.
Yeah.
Which you didn't think was really possible for an Evil Dead movie.
It was right there. It was this close to being my number 1.
Nice. Very nice. My number 2, Dawn of the Dead remake. That was a good one. Fast zombies. They get together, they make like a mosh pit situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a thrash metal concert going on.
Yeah.
Scary as shit, man. The way they surround the mall, I like it because it's more of a zombie movie than the original Dawn of the Dead. The original Dawn of the Dead is more of a social statement about consumerism and capitalism. That's fine, whatever. This one is a horror movie,
yes,
and it's got people getting eaten. and these fucking vile creatures that can and will run at you at full speed.
Full speed.
I'm hoping for the biker gang to show up like it did in the original. Send Tom Savini in a sidecar and another dude with a sombrero on, you know?
You had me at the sombrero.
The sombrero guy. Unfortunately, he does. That's the idiot that's trying to get his blood pressure taken when the zombies come and rip his arm off. Don't be stupid, sombrero guy. That's my number 2. How about number 1?
My number 1, Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Same thing. Is it for the same reasons, pretty much?
It is pure zombie action.
Yeah.
I love a fast zombie. Big fan of fast zombies. And its opening is so strong.
Oh, yeah.
That little the little neighbor girl.
Yeah.
Like that thing she does where she hops up onto her feet.
Yep.
Kind of crouching in the hallway. Beautiful. Her boyfriend, husband, trying to get to her. It's just so convincing. And then that aerial view where she's trying to make the getaway.
The picturesque neighborhood that she's pulling out of, just completely eating itself from the inside out.
And there's one scene in particular where she's driving off. Well, it's where her boyfriend, spouse, is chasing after her, just balls out.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking chasing her.
But then the poor neighborhood comes.
All he needs to do is catch a glimpse of somebody else, and he's on it.
Oh, yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Even the comedic elements of that movie, like the Burt Reynolds thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because to me, it's believable.
Sure.
Like you're gonna try to find levity amongst all of that chaos.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just this shoehorned comedy for, like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, cute one-liners here and there. That silly shit.
Great movie.
Right on. My number 1, Dracula, 1992.
Nice.
Really broke some ground with the special effects on this one. To take the liberties with the characters that Francis Ford Coppola did to make the vampire count the sympathetic one, and he's chasing love through eons and trying to reunite with his reincarnated wife, and here's these fuckheads that are trying to cock block him. that has absolutely nothing to do
cock blocking across time.
It got immortal cock blocking. That's what it is. But it has nothing to do with Bram Stoker's novel. I mean, it does very loosely. In every other iteration of the movie or the book, Dracula's the villain. He's a real asswipe, and he doesn't give a shit about anybody.
Yeah.
We're just food. And that's pretty much how the story should go. But to rearrange that to make him fucking Gary Oldman, dude. I don't think you can find a bad Gary Oldman performance ever. I've never seen one.
I love the guy.
Me too. I mean, even that one where he was on the haunted boat. The movie sucked, but he was still pretty good at it. That's my number 1. Do we have anything from Sarah this week?
We do.
All right.
Her rundown. Number 3, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right on.
Which was in my honorable mentions for sure.
Very cool.
Her number 2, Evil Dead.
Right on.
And her number 1, It.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is really great.
Yeah, I like that one too.
I had an honorable mention also for Fright Night.
Okay.
I really enjoy that.
I cannot get into Fright Night.
I like it.
Now, when she said It, was she referring to both films?
No, just the first one.
Just the first one? That seems to be the consensus.
Yeah.
They're great together, but if you have to... most people just watch the first one over and over again.
Yeah, that second one definitely not as strong as the first.
I agree. Right on. That is your Meat Hook Inmates. We would love to hear. You have 2 weeks to let us know what your top 3 favorite remakes are. PaddedRoomPodcast.com. You can find the mental health hotline there. It's area code 775-387-0275 if you don't feel like going to the website. Or you can contact us via the email link there, or just mail at PaddedRoomPodcast.com. Let us know what your top 3 is. Right on, Jason. I think it's time to get into the Terror Dome.
Oh, yeah.
No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
I'm not gonna hurt you. You didn't let me finish my sentence. I said, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in. I'm gonna bash them right the fuck in. I'll kill you all. I'll drive you crazy and I'll kill you all. My worst dream come true. A 6-year-old child with this
blank, pale, emotionless face. The blackest eyes. The devil's eyes.
Welcome to the Terradome.
First, last week's winner. In the Inferno Conference, we had the Samurai from Bloodbeat versus the Dead Girl from Dead Girl. The forest around the abandoned institute fell silent. The blood of the girl flowed slowly into the underbrush as the samurai strode back toward the loose collection of houses. There was more vengeance to be had. With a vote of 9-3, the samurai advances over the dead girl. I think people just like voting for samurai. Any villain that wields a weapon. Because, I mean, the dead girl is scary. She's got a pussy. That's her weapon. And if you get her around horny teenagers, they're going to fuck her and probably get turned into...
And this samurai does just seem to kind of be empowered by sex.
That's true. There's some very uncouth sexual situations in that movie.
During inmates, during your 2-week kind of vacation here, we challenge you to watch Bloodbeat. You can find it on Tubi, a few other places, but Tubi's going to be your easiest place to find it. Give it a watch. Think about it. Just sit around,
let it stew.
Dwell on it.
Let it stew.
Analyze it, if you will. Let us know your take on it. Let us know what the fuck is actually going on, and just get back to us.
Sadly, it is no longer on Shudder. Otherwise, I would tell you to watch it with the Joe Bob commentary. He does his full deep dive. If it ever comes back, and you feel the need to really get into the mire and the fucking blood and guts of Bloodbeats, Joe Bob will take you there.
Good stuff.
All right, now it's time. I think it's time for this week's matchup, Jason. We are in the Inferno Conference Round 8. As usual, inmates, bear with me. I'm not much of a writer. Fall was always amazing in Antonio Bay. Cool weather, changing leaves, the big Founders Day parade, and high school football. What more could you ask for in a coastal small town? This fall was different. This was Antonio Bay's centennial anniversary. 100 years ago, the town was founded on lies and betrayal, stolen gold, and, of course, murder. The centennial wouldn't be the only first for Antonio Bay this year. Pulling into town is the traveling Halloween attraction known as Hellfest. While the older generation of the small town aren't exactly happy about the type of tourism it's going to attract, they can't argue with cold hard cash either. As the attraction's lights blaze to life for opening night, a thick fog rolls in from the Pacific. The other sees the opportunity and dons his mask. Singles competition, Jason. We have the other from Hellfest versus Captain Blake from the Fog.
Yeah, boy.
What do you think about this one?
I am, for no logical reason, taking the other.
Okay. The logic isn't always necessary in the Terradome.
A human with a knife.
That's all. He's a guy
all I need.
With a pretty sweet mask and a knife. And he can really get the crowd into it, too.
He can.
I'm going to take Captain Blake because he's a ghost, and that just makes sense to me.
Yeah, no, it does.
That is your matchup.
I know I'll be the outlier there.
That's okay. That is your matchup, inmates. It's the other versus Captain Blake. Get us your votes in 2 weeks, I guess. Again, the mental health hotline, area code 775-387-0275. Or just go to paddedroompodcast.com, hit the Terradome link, and vote for whoever the hell you want. In the meantime, we have to tell you what movies we got to watch this week in a little segment called What Are You Looking At?
What are you looking at?
The Ones You Didn't Burn, Jason. 2022.
What'd you think?
It's a movie about witches. It's supposed to be about witches. It's more about addiction than anything else. Yeah, at the end you find out it's like a ancestral situation where this guy's family, this guy and his sister are basically descendants of witch hunters, and the witches that didn't get burnt kind of hung around and have been fucking with the family ever since, making sure that they all get jacked off on drugs and just live the worst possible lives imaginable.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah, you don't find that out until the end. And up till that, it's just a lot of addiction and family drama.
Yeah.
So there's that.
If I wanted to see that, I'd just go home.
Any y'all witches? I was kind of hoping you were. I saw that, and I saw a movie called The Crescent from 2017. Not sure why it's called The Crescent. It's about a single mom and her 3 or 4-year-old son who go to stay at a beach house after the kid's dad passes away. A lot of weird shit, a lot of weird neighbors. I think it goes into Lovecrafty territory a little bit. And the ending is kind of an attempt at like a David Lynchy fucking...
Oh, boy.
I know. No, I know. Who's really dead? Who's not? I don't know. It's very atmospheric. It's a slow burn. There's some pretty creepy areas there. It's worth a watch if you're in the mood for a slow burn. Atmospheric.
I don't know about that David Lynch action going on.
Yeah, the ending kind of makes you go, what the hell? How did we get here?
Yeah.
How did we even get here? That's all I'm looking at, Jay. What do you got?
I only got one extra movie in, and that was something you watched last week, Elevator Game.
What'd you think?
It's fine.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it.
It did have one really good visual in it that I appreciated when the dude got to like the red world.
Yeah.
Up in the sky.
The big
was
X.
like that big X.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that makes no sense. But then when
you
you find out why that would be etched there.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. Man, that was the most y'all thought about anything the whole damn movie.
It's true. It's true. Up to that point, it's a bunch of YouTube streamers and bullshit.
Yeah.
But holy shit, we got an X. Oh, no, it all makes sense. Yeah, it's not bad. It's streaming on Shudder if anybody's interested. That's all we're looking at. How about some immersion therapy then?
Mm-hmm.
Immersion therapy.
Now, I watched Relic on Shudder from 2022.
It's 2020.
Is it? I wrote down 2022. I'm sure you're right.
I think it's 2020. Yeah.
So I had to watch it at work in my office on my cell phone in 10 to 15 minute increments.
Okay.
Between having to do my job and then
sure
getting to come back. Am I correct in assuming that the whole time Grandma was actually an elderly black man? Because that's kind of what... I'm sure I missed a few things along the way, but at the end...
She was reincarnated Sammy Davis Jr.
Damn it! We've got to get Sammy out of these horror movies.
I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know.
Okay.
What I can tell you is that the entire time I'm watching this movie, I'm thinking, this movie stinks.
It was very boring.
So, and it wasn't until probably the final 10 minutes as I go to log me watching this movie and to give it a solid 4 on Letterboxd that I noticed I've already seen this movie and I had previously rated it a 4.
Oh, well, at least you're consistent.
So, but it's so unforgettable. I didn't remember 95% of it.
A lot of it is just hanging around the old house.
Yeah, it took until really late in the movie for really anything to really kind of happen.
Yeah.
And then it just got fucking weird.
Yeah.
I don't understand the whole Sammy Davis Jr. thing.
I don't get it. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Yeah, she sheds her skin.
And now she
looks like a pod person.
A little black man.
Very little.
I don't understand what that is.
I didn't get it.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay. Well,
still just as confused. It's still a 4. I don't even know why I give it a 4.
Letterboxd goes up to 5, though, doesn't it? So that's a pretty high
no, I
rating.
gave it a Letterboxd. I give it a 2.
Oh, okay.
So I'm used to IMDb.
Okay.
It translates to a 4.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah, it's very boring. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I assume that it maybe. I mean, I've watched movies at work before in my office on my phone, and I've watched some good ones. And I've been like, oh shit, I don't want to. Well, I'll put this off and I'll finish watching this movie. This one, it's like, fuck. I guess I'll go find something else to do and maybe come back to it because it's boring.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes, watching the movies on your cell phone works. Sometimes it don't. Worst example I've ever heard was a buddy of mine watched Paranormal Activity, one of them. I think it was the first one, maybe the second one. At work. This is in a prison, mind you. Not really actively paying attention.
I would hope not.
On his cell phone. And I'm like, what'd you think? He's like, didn't really scare me. I'm like, it's broad daylight. You're watching Paranormal Activity in a prison on a cell phone that at that time was like maybe a 6. Ugh. So a little teeny tiny guy. Yeah. And didn't think that was very
shocking.
Good. Yeah. Mind blown.
Jeez Louise. Maybe I watched it in the wrong context. Relic. I don't know.
Maybe you're taking too many micro naps.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yep.
Pew, pew. Your immersion therapy inmates for the next 2 weeks is going to be Bloodfest from 2018. You can find this guy on Amazon Prime. Check it out. We'll do the same and compare notes in 2 weeks from now, Jason. But now it is time to educate me.
Educating Miss Monica.
First, my clues from last week. I am a lonely prairie housewife. My husband just took off to go get some supplies from the nearest township or whatever. It's like 3 days' ride, so now I'm stuck in this desolate cabin all by myself. There's another cabin off on the horizon, but it's like a 2-hour jaunt to go talk to those dudes. Good thing I've got some religious paraphernalia and this windstorm to keep me company. I'm either going to go crazy, or I might see the devil, or maybe I am the devil, or I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's ghosts around here that are... I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I am, of course, the wind, Jason.
Ooh.
Have you seen The Wind?
I have seen it.
What'd you think?
I don't remember being fond of it.
Very slow. A lot of walking around.
a lot of wind.
Hey, let's go stand by that brush again.
Wind's blowing.
Boring. Whoa. Heard there's going to be more wind later. That's exciting. It's actually not a bad show if you can sit through it and kind of get into it. Who might I be this week, you ask? Well, Jason, I am royalty.
I highly doubt it.
And I am going to treat all of my friends to a big party bash. And the reason I'm doing it is because I need to get all my friends out of the villages around my castle because there's a infection going around. And I don't want them hanging around the dirty, stinky, filthy fucking villagers getting all sick and dead. So I'm going to bring all of them up to my castle. We're going to party down until this infection blows over. I hope the infection itself doesn't show up in the middle of my party and wreck a bunch of shit, because that could be a problem. There is like a living embodiment of that infection, and it will lead to some interpretive dance, just so you know.
Is this chlamydia we're talking about?
The Night of the Chlamydia. Worst movie ever. A lot of scratching. A lot of itching and scratching. Who might I be, you ask? Tune in 2 weeks from now, and I will drop some knowledge on you, inmates. In the meantime, I think that's about going to do it for us this week. Tune in next week for a brand new experiment here in the Padded Room. We're going to try out October Bloodlust Month.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, sorry. And that's pretty much going to be our month of October. we're just going to come at you rapid fire with all the goddamn horror movies we watch throughout the month of October, like we always do. And we want to know which ones you guys are watching, too. So let us know. It'll be a whole interactive thing, Jason.
Can't wait.
Well, it's just going to be a whole thing, a new thing. We're breaking new ground here.
I'm looking forward to it.
Probably not. I'm sure somebody else has done this before. Like, comment, subscribe wherever you found the show, inmates. That helps our visibility quite a bit. We do have a Patreon campaign running. Just go to paddedroompodcast.com. You'll find everything you need to know about us there. Links to the Patreon campaign, mental health hotline number again if you missed it, email links, 3 on a meat hook links, Terradome links. I got links for everything. Even links for my gay porn page, which I actually am not actively participating in, but Tony
is just against your will.
Is really ramping it up. He's doing a hell of a job, too. I'm glad he's using new pictures. In the meantime, I think that's about it for us. Jay, you got anything else?
That's it for me.
For Buddy in Absentia, Sarah, who I feel like is slowly becoming a part of the show, despite the fact that she refuses to come in here.
Blatantly refuses.
Blatantly. Meat hooks and the movies that go on them. Sick Kids. I just found out during the break that we had another episode. Haunted Dildos, man. You gotta wipe that thing down before you stick it in there, because you don't know what you're getting into. And the Padded Room Podcast, I'm afraid visiting hours are over.
Bye.